Well, thank you very much. Günaydın. The day that I speak Turkish, then it's going to be a wave of applauses. My name is Antoni Vives. I come from Barcelona. I don't know if I'm going to give hope to you. What I can tell you is that it is the first time in my life that I see such an amount of people in such a presentation like this one. So I think that it is something, and you know that I work in Istanbul, I work with these bad guys, who by the way, do a great job in Istanbul. And I think that you, Turkey, should be prouder of what you do because, again, such a meeting is very hard to see anywhere in the world. So I would applaud you. It's my turn of applauding you. Yeah. So I'm going to show you something here behind me. This is the first color movie ever recorded of a city. This is Berlin in 1910. And I want you to look at it for a second, just a second, because you are going to see the smart city of 1910. And you are going to see happy people, or people living together in the street. I think that they are celebrating something of, I don't know, the Kaiser or whoever, I don't care. But you see very smart public transportation in here. You see very good sidewalks. You see very good lighting. You see very good transportation again. You see people walking. You see shopping. You see the lights are over there. You see the kids. When we think about smart cities, we should think about something that is valuable for all of us. Oh no, I stopped it. I think that we have to think about what smart cities are about. And for me, and I've been working in the world of smart cities for a long time, smartness is about being social. Remember this. We have to become social. We have to become measurable. And for people that are aware of what GIS is, you're going to see that these things will resound to you. We have to be adjustable, which means that when we start a policy, we will have to adjust it depending on the data that we have. We have to be responsive to people. We're going to see it. And we have to be trackable. But you know what happens to us? That we always do the same thing. And the minister said something like this. We go to the companies and we seek for solutions. And what it reminds me of what happened with my ancestors. This is Christopherus Columbus going to America, discovering America, and you know what he did? With some bracelets and some mirrors, he conquered America. And we don't want to be the Indians of the big companies. What we want to be is the clients that really understand why we want to have a smart city. I'm going to talk a lot about this lady. This lady can be Miss Miriam, for example. She's 75. She lives alone because she's a widower, and her kids are our age, very young, our age, live in, I don't know, one lives in Barcelona, and the other one lives in, she's from Ankara, and the other one lives in Istanbul. The real answer of the big questions are here. This is why we make smart cities, to answer whether she eats, whether she walks, whether she can afford electricity, whether she can afford water, whether the water system is good. This is why we make smart cities. We don't make smart cities just for the sake of the companies, just for the sake of having things out in the street. The reason why we do this is this lady, Miss Fatima, Miss Miriam. And from now onwards, I would like you to put her here when thinking about why do we build smart cities. She goes shopping every day. She goes to the market. Is the sidewalk by which she carries her, I always forget the name for that in English, you know, what the ladies, the chariot, you understand what it is. Is a sidewalk prepared for that? Are we thinking about whether she can sit while going to the market? Can we track her? This is the reason why we need good smart cities. This is a map of the church, just a little bit of theory. You see here, this one over here is Miss Miriam. For the first time in history, something that happens in an environment with those verticals over there, the information vertical, the water vertical, the energy vertical, the nature vertical, at any given scale, our home, our apartment, our building, our block, our district, our city, etc. For the first time in history, the digitalization of the world provides us with data of Miss Miriam, her data, and all the Miss Miriams that we know that live in Ankara. For example, in the case of Barcelona, we know that we have 35,000, roughly, Miss Miriams aged over 75 living alone in the center of a city. So for the first time in history, and this is the sense of a smart city, we can tackle Miss Miriam problem, her situation, and at the same time, we can budget to make a social policy on that group of people. That had never happened before in life. But we have to make sure that we understand why we are. So what we need are not sexy dashboard rooms. I'm sure that lots of people have come to you selling dashboards. That's useless, completely useless. A dashboard is a good mobile phone. This is the best. This is the best dashboard meeting room that we have, all of us, and we wear it in the pocket. So forget about dashboards, forget about things. What we need is answers to the problems of these people, Miss Miriam, a family, a student, through the digitalization of the city, through good services. This is my vision for the 21st century city. A city that is made of self-sufficient and productive neighborhoods. Yes, we have to bring back production to the heart of the city, not with chimneys, not with pollution, with creativity, with the industry of creativity, with the industry of the digital world. We have to make sure that we live by where we work. People ask me when I work in cities, how can we end with traffic jams? It's very easy with less cars. That's all. So we have to live by where we work. And we are in Turkey, and you are one of the inventors of cities. What happened to us? What happened to us? When I am in the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, people living around there, people used to be in their homes. They went to the market, they had their schools over there. That was a good city to live. No pollution, no congestion, all the services were at hand, good social interaction, people were not isolated. What happened to us? You know what happened to us? We listened to other styles of cities that we thought that were better, coming from other parts of the world, in which the car seemed to be the solution for everything. And it is true that the car is a solution, but not for everything. The car spoils our city, and we know it, and we don't put solutions for that. And we have engineers, architects, and we have very intelligent people. The minister was talking about wisdom, and we don't solve this. And then we have to make sure that we don't have pollution and that cities become self-sufficient. So, we're going to see how the smart city is the place in which we think about smart social services. E-health, for example, we could think about a very simple solution, not very smart if you want, but very easy. Why don't we put a button to all the Miss Miriams that we have in Ankara? Perhaps you have it, I don't know. A button, and she pushes the button when she feels sick, and in 10 minutes she can have a social assistant at home. This is easy. You don't require a lot of intelligence for that. Well, this is possible. We put that in place in Barcelona. It works very well. But we decided that then we can put a little bit of more intelligence. Why don't we put a GPS to the water? This is a bit more intelligent. Why don't we put a sensor in her refrigerator so that the family knows whether she has opened or closed the refrigerator at least once a day? Because she hasn't done that, she's in trouble. This is a bit more intelligent. Or, because people being 75 are not stupid, why don't we put her tablet through which she can push and talk to the doctor directly through the tablet? This is even a bit more intelligent. And why don't we link her to the family that is living in Barcelona or in Istanbul, or to the neighbors, because she used to talk to the neighbors. And she likes talking to the neighbors, but sometimes she's tired and she doesn't want to go down the stairs. This is even a bit more intelligent. These are the kind of intelligent services that we have to put in place in the smart city era. Not to talk about how to work in the space. And people talk a lot about sensoring and how we have to do it. Sensorizing the city is a matter of doing it. But you have to do it in a smart way, connecting things. Lots of people are going to come to you talking about IoT and how IoT is. IoT is, again, very nice name for something that we know. We have to connect things. Aren't they connected? We have seen the Berlin of 1910. It's like any city of that, at the time of any modern city. They were connected the way they could. So today, as you see in here, we can do it in a more efficient way, but this is not very difficult. What is difficult is making the city talk to you. And again, this is about GIS, and this is about the intelligence. How do we generate frames of work, images, that help us to understand how the city is? For example, we have very good transportation systems, but we know that most of the bus lines were defined 20, 30, 40 years ago. If we track the movement of the mobile phones of people, we can know which are the commutings, and then we can adjust the bus transportation system of any city. Or we can monitor the new centers of the cities, and this is very relevant, for example, for Istanbul, I assume also for Ankara, where we have tourists. And some people say, this is good because then we can sell more things to tourists. And I say, no. This is very good because we know that when we have a city full of tourists, locals disappear. And a city full of tourists in certain points without locals is a dead city. So what we have to do is take measures to make sure that locals can live with tourism once you understand how things are moving. Has anyone been to Barcelona in this theater? Raise your hands. Some of you know FC Barcelona Stadium, Camp Nou, yes? No? Sagrada Familia. So one of the things that we did, using this sort of tracking of people, was changing the way the sidewalks had to be. Wider, smaller, depending on the pressure of other people. The public services, when you have lots of tourists, you have to have one kind of public services that you don't have to have when you don't have them, and so on and so forth. This is La Rambla. In La Rambla, I had 150 million euros in my pocket to arrange La Rambla. Thanks to the digitalization of the information, we lowered the investment from 150 to only 10 million euros because we just fine-tuned La Rambla. La Rambla works very well. La Rambla is a walkaway that we have in Barcelona, like, I don't know, like what? Well, a good walkaway that we touch to amend it. Or intelligent transportation. Or how do we cross different services? This is something I want to show. I don't know if it's going to, no, we have to go backwards. Backwards. Yes. You're going to see something here. This is what is, for me, smart city. This is light, which will allow us to lower the noise of a city with the light. These people are making noise. There has been a campaign. You can lower the volume. There's a platform that gets the noise because the noise goes up certain decibels. The lights flash, and there's been a campaign in the city saying when you are making noise and the lights flashes, The city hall knows, the police knows that you're making noise, so shut up. Okay? This is a real thing that happens in certain places where we work. This is even better. We live in places where we have good weather and we have terraces. This is a real case. They make a lot of noise. There are people sleeping there and the noise, the level is up the limit. This guy is the owner. He's the real owner of the bar. He gets a message in his mobile phone. He says, yes, I got the message. He goes out and he makes people shut up. Okay, we can go to the next one. No, this is me. Okay, so what I mean is that we can change the way in which we manage cities thanks to smartness. But the services are new. In the old days, up to now, when we have terraces, we always have the same complaints. We say, I don't have policemen enough to control all the terraces. I don't have inspectors enough to control. It's over. It's over. You put a sensor, you have an ID, you have a platform. By the way, the barman knows that at the second message, he gets a penalty. Direct. He's fined directly to his bank account. At the third, he has the bar closed. No policeman, no inspector. These are the kind of things that we are working on, for example, in Istanbul. These are the kind of things that we are trying to put in place in the cities that we work in, trying to make people understand that services change. Home services, for example. People are confused. People think that home services are domotics. And sincerely speaking, I don't need a button to raise my blinds at home. I prefer to do it by myself. That's not a smart home. That's another thing. The real smart home is the one that allows you to know whether your children are good or not when you have to leave and you leave them with your nanny. This is a smart home. The smart home is when you can put a wearable to your children when they play out in the street. This is a smart home. A smart home is when the home is self-sufficient from the energetical point of view. Or when we recuperate buildings. This is Palma de Mallorca. Mallorca, the islands, very touristic, but in some cases very poor. This is a 10,000 square meter buildings that has been activated in order to have 3D printing edutainment labs, generating jobs, co-working. Or this is Cucuta. Cucuta is in the border between Venezuela and Colombia, the poorest part of South America, where through the smart city strategy, we are changing the pattern towards a world in which people can live and work where they live. Because the problem that they have is that they cannot work by where they live, so they have to commute, and there's no enough time, no enough public transportation there. So we have to adapt the situation for each different city. This is the case of Barcelona. So we have to go through public space signification. How do we use differently the public space? How do we treat the public space meanwhile we change it? For that we also require smartness. Another smart thing is tearing down the flyovers of a city. This is a real case. This is also Barcelona. In Barcelona, we are building the biggest park in Southern Europe. Meanwhile, we use the greenery, and the result is this one. Before the flyover, and now this. This is also smart, and you can only do that through smart approaches. Or when we talk about how to regenerate cities. This is a very interesting case. This is Pune. Pune is a city 180 kilometers from Mumbai, as you know. It is the Oxford of India, 8 million people. And they are stuck in a traffic jam, absolutely stuck in a traffic jam. So what we're doing there, they have the nalas. A nala is an open sewage, dirty water. Children swim there and they get cholera. So we decided to do this. We clean the water, we make a bicycle lane, we make a pedestrian walk, we put a smart furniture, and we put connectivity. So Pune will be the first city in India having what we call an open-air connected co-working space. You know, as I said before, Pune is the Oxford of India. It means that they have a lot of students. They are starting to use these spaces for working together. Again, this is what we call smartness. The smart city has to work for this. These are the changes that are really valued by citizens. Or for example, this is a real case. That's a park with solar panels. This is a big storage for water, for rainwater. With the solar panels, we use energy to bring the water up to the park, to water the park with a smart watering system, and the energy is used by these vehicles that are electrical to clean the city. So this is a circular economy, a real case, and there are many that can be put in place. In the end, I think, very humbly, if you allow me, that we should go towards a specific Turkish social, and underline social smart city vision. I invite you to become the good clients of the big companies, of the small companies, and the good suppliers of your society to make things happen in a social way. Helping new inclusive social smart city vision, to offering opportunities. This is about job creation. If Turkey as a whole, this is amazing, once again, this is full of people with the interest that you have, with the strength that you have, with the city and the capacity that you have. This is a new breed for job creation, for talent generation. 3, we have to work with quick wins. This is not about what's going to happen in 10 years' time. We can do things in 6 months period, waves of 6 months, and people are going to recognize immediately the improvements in the city. We have to go for it. And then, of course, raising international awareness, making people understand that something is going on in here. This is what I wanted to tell you. It's very simple. You knew it very well. You didn't need me to tell it to you. But just having the chance of being here in this stage in front of you makes me so happy and so honored that I can only thank for having heard me. Thank you very much.